What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'll be talking about Daniel Suarez and where I think he could end up in the 2026 NASCAR season. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. It was officially announced earlier this week on Tuesday that Daniel Suarez will not return to trackhouse racing in the 2026 season. It has been a really big struggle for Daniel Suarez so far this year, with only one top 5 and 3 top 10s across the board through the first 18 races of the season. This was a make or break year for Daniel Suarez to step it up to the plate, with Pitbull leaving the team at the beginning of this year as well. There was a lot of people that thought maybe there would be a chance for Suarez' return, but now we know officially that Daniel Suarez will not return to this team in 2026. And there are not a lot of massive options out there for Daniel Suarez going into the 2026 year on the Cup side, but there might be some options in the other series. So today, I'm going to be discussing all the teams of where I think there's a chance for Daniel Suarez to go to in the 2026 year and season. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The best option for Daniel Suarez going into the 2026 season is going back down to the NASCAR Xfinity Series and driving for the same team that he drove for at that Mexico race, and that was Junior Motorsports. He drove the number 9 for Junior Motorsports at Mexico City, had a really strong run, drove from last, ended up picking up the win. Yes, Connor Zilisch and Ty Gibbs had issues and problems. They gave him a chance and opportunity to get up there, but he was in the right position and right time and picked up his 4th career Xfinity Series victory with that win. I think there is a good chance he could be in the number 88 car next year in 2026. There's a lot of drivers who are vying for that seat going into next year, with expected that Connor Zilisch is going to move up to the NASCAR Cup Series in the number 87 or the number 99 car in the NASCAR Cup Series next year. I think that Daniel Suarez would be the perfect candidate to drive this number 88 car. It could be very similar to a story like Elliott Sadler. Elliott Sadler was a driver who had some success in the NASCAR Cup Series. He picked up, I believe, 3 or 4 wins in NASCAR Cup competition, 2 wins in 2004, and a win in 2001. But he never really reached that top level and was never really a championship contender. But he went back down to Xfinity competition around 2011, and he became a championship contender with every organization he drove for, and he had a ton of pace and a ton of success. I see a very similar situation with Daniel Suarez here, and I think the 88 car would be a really, really good option. He'd be working with a really good crew chief in Marley Lindley, who in my opinion is one of the best crew chiefs we have in the NASCAR Xfinity Series currently at the moment, and that 88 team has been getting faster and faster. In the last 5 races, the 88 car has finished no worse than 5th, and Connor Zilisch has been doing a really good job in that car. I think Suarez, especially of how good he's been when he's ran in Xfinity competition, which I think he's better in those cars than he's been in the Cup cars, I think he do a really, really good job. I think this is the most likely landing spot for Suarez going into next season. I think this is the best option that Daniel Suarez is going to have at the moment right now. If he cannot find a Cup ride for next year, I think the 88 car would be a really good car to go to. I think this is a really good opportunity for Suarez. I think there's a great chance he could potentially end up in the number 88. Or the number 9 car if they move some things around with the driver lineup for next year, like moving Sammy Smith to that car perhaps, and then maybe moving Suarez to the 8. But right now, I'm thinking the 88 car is the most likely option for him next season with how strong that team has been in the Xfinity Series next year. Let's now move on back up to the NASCAR Cup Series, because there are a couple options out there. The first one, of course, being Legacy Motor Club. There is a lot of talk and a lot of conversation at the moment that Legacy Motor Club is vying for a 3rd charter going into the 2026 season. Of course, they're in a lawsuit with Rick Ware Racing, which, of course, we know that TJ Pusher has purchased Rick Ware Racing recently, and we're not sure how that will affect the lawsuit. But Legacy is trying to become a 3-car team. Now, Jesse Love's name has been linked as a major candidate if they do expand to a 3-car team. But let's say they feel like Jesse Love needs another year in the Xfinity Series to continue to develop. Jesse Love has still not picked up a non-super speedway win in Xfinity competition at this point. Technically, he won the race at Rockingham, but he was disqualified from that event. But let's say they keep him in Xfinity for a year. I think Daniel Suarez would be an interesting option for this team. I think, 1, you would have a veteran driver coming to the team, and number 2, we would have a driver who brings sponsorship and funding to the table. Daniel Suarez does have sponsors that are still working with him to this day, and he has a lot of sponsorship that wants help him in a really, really big way. So I think the 84 car, or whatever number they choose, if they do expand to a 3-car team, I think this could be a potential likely landing spot and could go back to the Toyota camp in some way, shape, or form. I don't think he's a favorite currently at the moment for this team right now, but I do think legacy is certainly an option, and I do think it's a possibility where he could potentially be teammates at Eric Jones again when they were teammates at Joe Gibbs Racing, and could work with John Hunter and could be like someone that could be good. Now, would he be really, really good? I think Eric Jones would still outperform him, but if sponsorship comes into play for this ride, I think this could be a potential landing spot for Daniel Suarez going into 2026 if things don't improve. The other Cup option that I see is Spire Motorsports. Now, there's a lot of people talking about that number 7 car for Spire Motorsports this season. And look, Justin Haley, let's not deny he has had a really, really bad season. But I am going to defend Justin Haley in this video. Look, Justin Haley, yes, we know, has not had the best season so far. But gotta remember, not even 10 or 11 races in the year, he lost everything in that number 7 car. His crew chief, Ronnie Childers, left the team, I believe, after a really strong race at Bristol, where he finished, I believe, in the top 10 or top 15, if I'm not mistaken, and showed really good speed in that event. I believe he led laps. His car chief, Cheddar Smith, went to work with Ty Gibbs early in the year, where we've seen Ty Gibbs show improvement recently. And then all of his pit crew members, the original pit crew he had with Spire, they got picked up by Hendrick Motorsports. So I'm going to defend Justin Haley here and say that, yeah, Justin Haley's not had the best season, but I don't think Justin Haley's really the big problem over there currently at the moment. I think he does deserve another chance and another opportunity. And the one thing that would hurt this likely possibility is the fact that you look at, the Spire team. They don't really need to worry about sponsorship and funding. They're going after more talent at this point. If we see him struggle, see Justin Haley struggle next year, then maybe we could see him leave the team. But I think if they decide to move on from Justin Haley, which I don't think would be fair at this point, I think Suarez could certainly be an option. But right now, I think this is an outside chance, but I think there's definitely people talking about it, and it could be a factor ride for next year. We'll have to kind of wait and see what happens with this number 7, but I think right now Haley's going to stick around. But I think if things change, you could see Suarez maybe find a way into this number 7 camp in 2026. The final Cup team we are talking about is Kaulig Racing. This is a mixture of the Cup program and the Xfinity program for Kaulig Racing. Now, obviously, Ty Dillon is not currently signed to a contract extension at the moment right now with Kaulig Racing, but I do expect more than likely that Ty Dillon is going to return to Kaulig Racing in the Cup Series next year. Ty Dillon, in my opinion, has actually been doing a really, really good job. They are working on a contract extension with him currently at the moment, and I think this would be I would have thought maybe this would have been a really good option for Suarez going into next season if Ty Dillon wasn't working on that extension. But Ty Dillon just picked up his first top 10 of the season, and I think there's been times where Ty Dillon has actually outperformed Daniel Suarez this year, so I'm not sure how he would do in the number 10. But I think there's a chance he could end up maybe in the number 11 Xfinity car next year and taking over the 11 car from Josh Williams. Look, this is no disrespect to Josh Williams. Josh Williams is a really good dude. He does a lot of good stuff behind the scenes. But the 2 years he's ran for Kaulig Racing have been a major, major disappointment. He has had a terrible season in that number 11 car this year. And there just isn't any pace or speed for that number 11 team currently at the moment. I think Daniel Suarez would do way better in the number 11 car than Josh Williams has done. I think he would be a playoff contender. And I think that Kaulig team would be doing a lot better right now if you had a veteran in that team. The problem is, Josh Williams is a veteran, but he's not someone that is really setting the world on fire in that car currently at the moment. So I'm leaning toward maybe this being a possibility for Suarez going into next year. I don't think the 10 car is a full-on option for the Cup Series right now for Suarez, but I do think the number 11 Xfinity car could absolutely be an option going into the 2026 year. And then you look at all the potential rides that are open. Maybe a Kaulig Cup car becomes available at that point if Ty Dillon struggles in 2026. But I'm thinking right now the 11 car could be a potential possibility for Daniel Suarez going into next year. An outside team that I think could actually be a possibility is going to Joe Gibbs Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and driving the number 19 car. Now, Daniel Suarez, of course, is a former Joe Gibbs Racing driver who drove for the team in the Xfinity Series in 2016 and 2015. Did not pick up a win in 2015, but he showed a lot of consistency. And then in 2016, he picked up 3 wins with the program and was able to go on and win the championship that year. And then got promoted to the NASCAR Cup Series and drove for that team in 2017 and 2018. And the results really weren't there. But I look at Suarez's situation kind of very similar to Eric Almirola. Eric Almirola, let's be real and honest, he was an alright driver, but he never really showed that top level speed that you need if you're going to be in the Cup Series. But since going down and racing in Xfinity competition, he's been really good. He's already got a win this year so far. I think he picked up 3 wins in the Xfinity Series last year and was really, really dominant in the races that he ran. If they can find a way to get get full funding over there, because that's what they're going to be looking for over Joe Gibbs Racing is the funding, I think then this could be a really good option. And then maybe down the road, if Denny Hamlin retires, Suarez could be maybe an outside option for that car if no one else is ready at that point. Though I think Brent Cruz could also be full-time in Xfinity next year if things go the direction. Nonetheless, I think this 19 car is an option. I don't think it's a full-on option, but I think this is an outside option for Daniel Suarez going into 2026. An outside option I also look at is RCR's NASCAR Xfinity program. Now, the only way this would be a potential possibility is if Jesse Love does in fact go to Legacy Motor Club. But one thing for Suarez here is that number 2 car is one of the fastest cars every single week. I think RCR's Xfinity program, say what you want to say about the Cup program, or the Cup program of Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon right now, really isn't that strong at the moment right now. I think that the Xfinity program is absolutely really, really strong. Austin Dillon's already had 3 or 4 wins so far this year, and he's a championship contender this season. I think if you're looking for someone that could be a veteran experience in that number 2 car, if you can't move like Nick Sanchez over, or you're not going to get Parker Ressa, but get like Nick Sanchez over, for example, I think this could be a really good option for Suarez. And then maybe down the road he ends up in their Cup program in the future. But I think that this one is an outside possibility. Not many people are thinking about this at the moment right now, but I will throw this program out there, so I think there is a chance and possibility that we could see him in an RCR Xfinity Series car if things go right. And finally, let's talk about the Dodge Truck program. Let's say if Daniel Suarez does not go to Xfinity next year and has to go down to trucks. What about the Dodge Truck program? There are rumors of GMS Racing will be bringing back their NASCAR Craftsman Truck program next year, and Dodge is going to be following it with the Ram program. I would think if they don't get Cletus McFarland over there, I do think that Suarez would actually be a really solid option to go with. He has won a Truck Series race before back in 2016 at Phoenix, and I think that Suarez would absolutely bring a lot of veteran experience over there and would be a championship contender right off the get-go. Now, of course, Corey Heim is going to be a favorite. Lane Riggs and Chandler Smith, if they return next year, they're going to be good. But I absolutely think this could be an outside possibility. I'm leaning toward maybe not, but I will throw this out there if GMS does find a way to get their Truck Series program up and running. I'll throw this one out there as a possibility. So those are the options I realistically see for Daniel Suarez going into next year. What team do I think he's going to end up going to in 2026? I think Daniel Suarez ends up at Junior Motorsports next year in Xfinity competition. I don't think there's going to be a Cup ride available. I think Legacy is going to be tough for them to have a 3-car team. I think there's a chance, but I think Jess Love likely gets a seat. I think Spire, I know people bring it up, but I don't think that's a full-on option. And Colleague, I look at the Xfinity program, and I think that Junior Motorsports is just the best option. Plus, let's just say if Junior Motorsports does decide to run some Cup Series races next year, which there is a chance they could, I absolutely could see Suarez being that guy who could make a few starts for that program next season, especially if they run the Daytona 500. They've expressed interest and maybe want to do it in the future once again. I will say this may be a possibility, and I will throw this out there. It might get some Cup starts, but I think right now we see a trade. We see Zilish go over to the Trackhouse Racing organization next season, and we see Daniel Suarez go to the number 88 in Xfinity. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's the most likely outcome for Daniel Suarez going into the 2026 season. So, that is going to be today's special video on Daniel Suarez and where I think he'll end up next season. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. Where do you think Daniel Suarez is going to end up in the 2026 season? You think he stays in Cup? Do you think he goes to Xfinity? Or do you think he somehow goes to Trucks next year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We're going to have a little silly season recap video dropping on the channel with all the news that's broken today on some of the news. Talking about some potential moves that could happen later today on the 4th of July. I want to wish you all a happy 4th of July, by the way. Tomorrow, we're going to have reactions to the Xfinity Series race from Chicago, and we're also going to have some other stuff around that as well, the Cup qualifying reactions. Then, of course, on Sunday, we'll have the Cup race review from Chicago and a starting lineup video as well. We got content coming out. People, Haley Deegan, Shaman, Gisborne, Cards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Tony Breidinger, other things like Red Bull, Connor Zilish, Carson Quaffle, other stuff in 2011 Front Row Motorsports, Michael Jordan, all that with the lawsuit as well. We talk about that kind of stuff on the channel in the coming days and weeks, along with Cletus McFarland. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, buddy.